If you thought Donald Trump had already hit rock bottom, you might want to rethink that because the floor is still falling out from under him. And for anyone watching the internal machinery of MAGA grind itself to dust, there's almost a grim sort of delight in seeing yet another crack rip straight through the coalition. The loudest Trump cheerleaders are now peeling away, not quietly, but with the fury of true believers who feel personally betrayed. They aren't just walking out of the room, they're walking out of Congress so they can devote themselves wholly to attacking the man they once worshipped. The newest defector? South Carolina's Nancy Mace. And the report surrounding her is the sort of bombshell that rattles both Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson.
The new Gallup poll out today is terrible news for the president, just absolutely terrible. His approval rating right now is minus 24. The president is 24 points underwater in his approval rating. 36% of the country approves of him, 60% disapproves. Just absolutely stunning, not even 1 year in. And on the issues, it's even worse. It's worse just because it's so relentlessly bad for him. No ray of light anywhere here. Do you approve of President Trump on the issue of crime? No, by a 9-point margin. Do you approve of President Trump on the issue of foreign affairs? No, by a 15-point margin. Do you approve of Trump on trade? No, by a 19-point margin. Do you approve of Trump on immigration, right? He really wants you to love him on the issue of immigration. No, the American people do not approve of his handling of immigration. And what's the margin? The margin is 25 points. The American people disapprove of his handling of immigration more than they approve of it by 25 percentage points. Turns out all those propaganda videos of you being mean to immigrants aren't working.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
But before diving into that, it's worth understanding what pushed her to this moment, and you don't need to look far. Trump's poll numbers are in freefall. Gallup has him 24 points underwater. Only 36% of the country approves of him, while 60% wants nothing to do with his leadership. And when you dig into the issues, crime, foreign affairs, trade, immigration, it somehow gets even more brutal. Not a single bright spot. The American public is not just skeptical, they're exhausted by him. This is the weakest Trump has ever been, politically. And that includes the period right after he incited an insurrection. You can practically feel the panic settling into the GOP as they stare down midterms that are shaping up to be an electoral bloodletting. Trump's endorsement is no longer a golden ticket, and everyone knows he's terrified of backing candidates who might lose. The spell is breaking. And then comes the personal resentment. If you want to understand Nancy Mace's sudden rebellion, look at someone who could practically be her political twin. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She, too, fantasized about climbing the ladder, about running for Senate, and Trump personally shut her down. The moment he blocked her ambitions, she snapped, and she's been staging a revenge tour ever since. Mace is operating from that same emotional place. According to reporting from the New York Times, she's considering resigning early, furious at how women are treated under Mike Johnson's leadership. She's even meeting with Marjorie Taylor Greene to discuss quitting and unleashing themselves on the MAGA establishment from the outside. That's how disillusioned they've become, how fractured the once unyielding Trump base now is. And here's the tragic irony. Both Mace and Greene can clearly describe the sexism they face in their own party, yet cannot or will not acknowledge that this is part of a broader conservative structure that has always held women back. It's not just boys will be boys in Congress, it's systemic. But instead of challenging the larger ideology, they take it personally and lash out. Meanwhile, the wider Republican meltdown continues. Mike Johnson's hold on the Speaker's gavel is slipping. Members openly mock his leadership. Some predict he won't survive the year. Republicans are retiring early, running for the exits, sick of tying themselves to Trump's chaos. And at the same time, Trump is desperately trying to gaslight his own supporters into believing he delivered transparency on the Epstein files, when in reality, the House Oversight Committee is the one digging through the mess, while Trump world figures like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel drag their feet. Even some Republicans are starting to question why Trump talks endlessly about exposing Epstein's network, yet refuses to release the documents he has power over. As more information spills out photos, videos, documents from Epstein's island, the tension grows. Some Republicans want accountability. Others want the whole thing buried. And Trump? He's terrified of where the trail might lead. His base is starting to notice the contradiction. The man who claims he'll drain the swamp always seems to protect the darkest corners of it. And that brings us back to Mace. Her possible resignation is not just a tantrum. It's a symbol of a movement in freefall. MAGA once promised power, glory, and revenge on political enemies. Now its own warriors are turning on each other, furious that the machine they empowered never had any intention of empowering them. The chaos Trump unleashed is finally coming home, and the people who helped him build it are the ones getting crushed under the weight.